Hey guys, welcome back to Comfy Cozy Up. So today I'm smiling, guys, but let me tell you, this side of my gum is not good. I had to go back to the dentist, guys. So for day 13 I had to go back to the dentist. You guys know I went to the dentist a week. It's been a week. Yeah, it's over a week. And ever since I've been back, I've been like feeling irritated here, but then it got really bad the last like 3 days, and I've been dealing with it the best way possible because of the pain. Has been so bad, and you guys didn't even notice it. That's how much I've been playing it off. So I had to get back up in that man's office, and it turned out something happened with my gum. I have no idea what happened. He really doesn't know either. So I'm assuming the person, the woman that did my the dental hygienist or whatever, may have irritated the gum, and it just got bad. So I'm on medication for the pain and for it to heal. So I was not happy about that. And the last decent meal I had was at the party, and that was me eating on one side of my mouth. So yeah, happy holiday on for me, vacation time for me. Anyway, let's talk about some fun stuff. The subscriber jar. So I'm gonna start with the book that I never reviewed because it's the book I just finished, and let me tell you, thanks. So I'm gonna put names for each book of who recommended it. These are the jars of all the books that I read this year. So I'll just put a name here. Thanks for recommending this because this was amazing. I love this. I love the fathers. I love how it just the racial issues, the sexual issues that was happening in terms of having gay sons, and how these fathers struggle with it and never quite accept their son. And when now their son has been, both sons were killed, there's that realization, there is that coming to terms with everything. There's that, I need to know who did this, who took away any possibility took away any possibility of even, you know, being able to repair their bond and all that. So I love this. I love how the personality, I mean, Buddy Lee, no, that's a daddy. Buddy Lee was the white father because it was an interracial couple, their sons, and Buddy Lee was the white father. So he comes from in this story, I love how he talks about how he was raised, what he's assumed, expected, and thought of in terms of black people, and the kind of family that he comes from, and how he took control of certain things when it got to that point. Look, that was a daddy. There's that moment when, you know, when he realized who did what and his reaction. I was fist pumping that book because I was like, oh. And then I really like Ike characters as well, because he's like, he plays the part well of being not a good father, not a good husband, ruthless, but then you kind of learn why and how he became this person, and ultimately it is a part of him, whether or not, you know, it's a good thing or not. It's still a part of how he behaves and how he sees life and how he deals with life. And I love his character as well. But these two together was just a perfect pair. Who did it surprised me. I definitely didn't see that coming. And I love how the story is told. It is very much an action pack. It is a thriller. It is suspense. It has mystery. It's giving you all of that. And I think this book, how did I not pick this book up when it was all over the place? I remember this book being on Instagram all the time. How did I not pick this book up? So thanks for recommending it. It is amazing. Love it. Absolutely recommend it if you're looking for that kind of book. Especially this time of the year, I think it just gives you chills and all of that, and you just want to get into it. Love. So let's talk about all the books. So I started the year off wanting to read books that I would never normally pick up. Like, you know, this is another reason why I love like the Booker and all that, because these are books I would never randomly go in the store, go online and purchase. So I did the job with the intention of you guys, as in my subscriber, people who watch my videos, support me, comment, all that good stuff, will give me their best. What book did you read that you think was so good that you want me to read? Or a book that you really enjoy, but you just need, you want my opinion on it, how you think. And you gave me a lot. Now this job was nice. You know, it was nice. It's a little low now. But I love this idea because I was introduced to books that I absolutely love, that are, some of these books definitely would be on my top 10, and books that are memorable, no matter how. And for the 12 books given, 10 was absolutely 4 or 5 star books, and then there was like one that was more on the, I would say, it gave me a 3 star, but I will tell you, I will tell you which one that one is. And of course I had one book that I just did not mesh with. So if I say 10 out of, you know, 12, you guys definitely gave me the best books that I absolutely love. And so we're gonna continue this. So, you know, when you get to your favorite books of the year, and just submit it, and let's fill this jar up, and let's continue this reading from the subscriber jar, reading books that you as a subscriber love and would like my opinion on it. You guys see, it was all random. I did not, you know, pre-select anything. I literally was like, let's go. Because a lot of these books I've never heard of. Never heard of, don't know it from, never heard of the author. But I decided, you know what? You recommend it, you enjoy it, I'm gonna give it a chance, and I'm glad I did that. So let's go down. So we started with the kind of genre I would never would ever read. Yeah, y'all started me with sci-fi. Y'all started me with sci-fi, and this was fun because guess what? I watched the movie, and I did do the movie interpretation. So, you know, H.G. Wells, he is a classic. This is a classic. 18 something. I can't remember what year this was published. 18 something, but it's a classic. And y'all started me with the Island of Dr. Moreau. Y'all, this was fun. It was creepy. It was creepy, but this is like, when I think of sci-fi and horror, I don't read that genre, to be honest. You could tell from the amount of years I've had this channel, I've probably reviewed maybe 3. And that's saying a lot from the almost 600 books that I've read. Well, it's over 600 now, but that I've read. That says a lot. This is my kind of sci-fi that I can actually read. It is short, but it's action-packed, and it was really good. So I'm here for this kind of sci-fi. Then y'all made me read one of the most entertaining classics. Cause y'all were giving me classic. Y'all gave me 3 classics out of the 4. 4 classics out of the 12 books. So y'all gave me classic. Anna Karenina. You know how many times I've seen this book? Do you know how many times I've seen this book and I've been staying away from it and like not even having any interest of reading it? And you guys put a name here of whoever this was again that said read this, and I'm like, oh my god, the best ending. The best ending. This is a book where I love it, but I did not like the main character. I could not stand the main character. I was fist pumping at the end when her little petty self got herself in some ish. This book is a classic that I feel is so entertaining, and it really do drive the whole women, and you know, the grass is never green on the other side. Trifling Karenina, you know. So Anna Karenina is just, it's that classic. It's that classic that you either gonna love it or hate it. I was very entertained. Very entertained. so glad that this was on the list, that I finally got it off. And look at the chunky beast. I was, yes, big book, yes, get my page count up. So I was here for it. And then you guys gave me another book that was just completely blew me away, and that is Take My Hand. Yeah. This book, I learned, this is another one of those beyond the pages. And I have a couple of those that I'm going to talk about. But this book made me do some research, and I did not realize how important the storyline, the real storyline that inspired this book was to us, especially as women, especially women that are in a marginalized community. This was it. This book was so good. Absolutely perfect. Love it. It is one of my favorite books I read this year. And I would have, like I said, I saw this in the, you guys remember last year in Vlogmas, I saw it in the store, I looked it up and I put it back down. Y'all put it in the jar. I picked it, and March was absolutely worth reading. This was worth reading. Then we get to another classic, The French Cassette. Now, Cousin Bet. Cousin Bet, let me tell you, this was a horrible edition that I did get. I don't recommend this edition. Do not get this edition, because the font will kill your eyes. It was absolutely brutal to your eyes. As a matter of fact, I think I have even an e-copy of this, because that's how much I was just like struggling with the font on this. It's like, this is supposed to be like a 500-page book that they cram in this amount. So do not get this edition. However, Cousin Bet. Now this is another classy bitch. I love this. This was entertaining. Absolutely entertaining. Oh my god. Like I love classic book with real bitches. Yeah. Trifling, do the most. You know, payback. You know, you made me not get the man I want, so I'm gonna make sure y'all saw. And I'm gonna hit y'all where you know, and then the thing is, she really wasn't the villain. The men in these are the villain, because they were like easy target for being trifling, and she just used that to her advantage. So I was here for it. I was here for this. This was good. Then we have a short story collection, and I talked about this in the previous video, and How to Breathe Underwater. Now let me tell you, now Julie Oriana, I don't know who this author is, never heard of her. So this is another book where this came out of the blue for me. Don't know. I never heard of Cousin Bet either. So this was another one where I'm like, this is a classic that completely I never heard of. This I never heard of, but I like this. This was a classic. This was a short story collection I thought that was well done, made sense, gave you that summer feel for it, because especially the cover nailed it. And I like the storyline. There's several stories that really would grab you in certain things that you're just like, oh, but it's just how it's written. I thought she did a beautiful job with this short story collection. It is not one of those really over the top, but more of realistic and felt very real kind of storyline. So I really enjoyed this one. Then there's another book that I have avoided for many and that is Deacon King Kong. This book been out for a while, and I think it was Victoria that recommend this. Put it here. But I remember just seeing this and then she was talking about it, and it just so happened I picked up the jar, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna read it now, because I did not have any intention. This is one of those stories that if it doesn't grab you in the beginning, you might DNF it. But it's one of those where I feel like push through, get through the front, because there's a lot going on in the beginning. This is a man who, you know, this is the deacon with some flaws that was like pull out a gun in the middle of the day. And shoot people. So it's a lot in the beginning. So because of that, I think some people just get a little bit confused on what is going on, because it's just like what everywhere you go is something that this crazy man is doing. But it is so good. Hang in there. Get past that first couple of pages, chapters in the beginning. That is just wild, but it all will make sense, and it all, you know, you all get into it. But it is a little struggle book in the beginning, but I enjoy this. Now the book that I felt like was more of a 3-star, and It is a book that was on the Booker. It was shortlisted on the Booker, and the book that won that year, I loved. I actually read that book. Lord jeez, I can't remember the name of the book, but I talked about this when I reviewed a video for this book. Now this is like an interpretation of what they feel like Mary the mother would feel during the whole crucifying of Jesus situation. So this is where this book is. It's very short. It is a good book. I just wasn't, I don't think it's one of those books that I would say jump out and like go read it, that kind of deal. But I do think it's interesting when I think about it, especially somebody who's was raised in a church. There's things about it that I thought about. These are things that you don't, when you're younger, especially Caribbean, it's like you don't ask those questions. Those, you know, it's like those questions are forbidden. And I felt like things that was addressed in this are things that I thought about, that I was like, I was wondering about that too. I'm glad I'm not the only one, even though I think as a young child I couldn't verbally ask or say it. It was like addressed in this. That's why I think this is very creative and very much like aha moment of things that you want to ask but can't. But again, this is just interpretation. So reality is nobody can really say what what or if, but it's just interpretation of what a mother would do, what a mother would feel, or a mother would think. Make it, you know, her being human in a way that is not really discussed so much in the Bible. So I thought this was an interesting book. This is definitely a discussion piece book, especially in certain environment. I can just see this can be like dissected and discussed in such a way that might tick some people up, but then might actually enlighten other people. So it is an interesting book. I could see why it was on the Booker. I don't see it winning against the one that won that year, because no. And then the next book I enjoy, but y'all know this cover was terrible. Why? This is me wishing Joan Vassar, please, I beg you, woman, me see you the other day upon Instagram, I beg you, change the cover. Change the cover. When you do your next update, just change the cover, because I would have never picked this up if I saw this in the bookstore. And it's a good book. I really like this. This book is like a 2-in-1 kind of deal. You're getting, you know, they try to make it a dark romance, but it's really not. It's really more of a, I would say, suspense, kind of thriller aspect, because I was more interested with the man and his double life, and, you know, he gonna get them. You know, dangerous, you know, but, you know, he's an activist and all of that. I was more interested in his storyline in this than the actual romance part, because the dark romance part is the fact that the woman got kidnapped, you rescue the woman, but you force the woman to marry you. That's where dark romance come in. But it kind of makes sense if you it sounds wild and crazy, but if you read it, you'll be alright with it. That's how good the book is. I love this. Hated the cover. My God. This cover is just terrible, but I did love this. And unfortunately, it ends where you know there's going to be a part. It didn't end on a cliffhanger. It's more like a series where you know certain things weren't tied up, so it's supposed to be another book, but they never came out with another book at all. She has other series that I hear so much good things about. So I do want to get into more of her books next year, and pray, I really do, that the covers are not just this terrible. This cover is just disgusting, and it's just, and then the drawers just look so old, the gun looks so old. This just looked like some old mess. I cannot. And then the book that absolutely changed how I look at certain things and how it inspired my craft. And this is a book that was selected, and the person selected this absolutely knew this was going to be that book for me. This is a personal read. Every year there's that one book that I feel is a personal read for me. It captured my essence of me, and I'm just thinking, yes. And this is by her own design. And this is a story about Anne Lowe. And it is, now Piper Yulee, I have never heard of this author, so this is another who are you now, that kind of thing. But I would never forget who she is. I would never forget who she is now, because writing a story that is inspired by the real Anne Lowe And a lot of this is considered a fiction because of there's certain aspect of the book that she used her imagination and added. But I would say 80% of this book is actually true. And so when I did my own research on the author, there's a lot of this in there that is actually true. So she did her research and and talked about Anne Lo, but she gave her so much love in this. And when you read about Anne Lo and you read about her strength and the things that she was able to do as the first known African-American designer that was in a certain social register, meaning she only designed for certain class of women, and which was a big deal back then. And then, you know, there's that idea of what she wished she could have done and what she didn't do, and it's discussed in this book. But it's also an article of her saying that as she got older and certain regrets that she had. What I love is that her dresses are available. Her dresses are in quite a few different museums. It's been rotating all over. I'm waiting for it to come back to New York, but it was in New York I think last year and or earlier this year, something around there. And so as it rotates to different museum and comes back, I'm tracking it. I forgot, somebody sent me even a video recently of where it was, and I can't remember what countries her stuff is. She do have certain dresses that is in Washington DC, the Smithsonian, and I think the African American Museum still has some of her dresses. But there's so many of her dresses that people thought had disappeared, including myself. You know, when you read this, that there are people who donated those dresses, and so I want to see them. I bought her actual book with every one of her designs that's out there, and I love it. It's a treasure. I learned so much about preserving garments and the finishing of inside of a clothes from that time period compared to now, how we're so much into serger and how inside needs to be so nice and flawless, versus those dresses back then. There was so many things that was being done that inside didn't look as flawless, but it was just absolutely stunning outside. I could ramble on and on about this author and this book and Anne Lo's life, because I have absolutely loved this woman's work, and I am so glad that she's still getting her shine. She's still getting recognition, even though fashion school seem to not tell their students about her up until recently. Now they want to, but they weren't, which is so ridiculous, because those flowers that we wear on our gowns, those flowers, we should be thanking her, okay? Because she's the one that started that whole rose thing and was teaching other people, other designers that became big after the fact. But she was the one that was teaching all of that. And again, didn't get her shine. But when y'all wear some flowers on y'all dress, just know. Just know. All right. I could go on and on about that one. Then we got Spice. Fannie Hill. Let me tell you, this is considered one of the most banned books in history. I believe this book was published back in 1748. I think it's 1748. Yes. And this is a book that, if you are in dark romance, when you think of the series that I read, Salacious Club, and you think of those books that really go there when it comes to the content of what is written, y'all need to read this. This is the original storyline of that. The bondage thing. The thin line between pain and pleasure. It's in here. The difference is, this is poetry. The writing is poetry. It's not as vulgar. The author do use certain things that I laugh about, because modern book do not have a problem of naming the body parts or certain vulgar words that we use for body part. Modern books don't have a problem with that. Worse is this, you know, they use the machine. You go into war. Those are the kind of things that they talk about when they're explaining sex or the male body part in this is where it becomes a little bit funny when you read it now. But the writing style, absolutely poetry. This is just a beautiful writing style to talk about kinks. Now, this story, reason why it was controversial is because of the age of the character. Now, if we're going to modern time, this would be absolutely a no-no. But because of the time period that this was, that she was in essence modern day young, very young. But in that time period, they were marrying them off. So it's kind of like the book represented the time. And so reading it now, absolutely you're going to be turning head when you realize how old she really was. Because I didn't realize how old she really was till like I'm deep into part 2. It is also written in letter style. She's talking to someone and explaining her life and what happened, how her parents passed, how she survived, the things she had to do to survive. You get that in here. But again, this is one of those books that if you are into dark romance, I suggest you just go ahead and read this and just check this off on the list so that you can kind of appreciate how it all started. That kind of deal. So yeah, published 1748. And it got kinks. Hello, kinks. Alright, then we have the November book, which I did not, it wasn't for me. That's the best way I can put it. And this is Diary of a Femme. I wanted to love it, but it just didn't do it for me. It just wasn't a strong book. And it talks so much about the film industry and because the main character is at a festival for a film that he did, and you know, and he's there and he's like communicating with this random woman, and it's her story, and there's that whole talk about who should be telling someone else's story, that kind of deal. I just didn't love this book. I wanted to, but it just didn't do it for me. So this is the womp womp out of the 12. This is really the womp womp, because even though the other book I was talking about, The Testament of Mary, I still find that book very good in terms of the writing and the whole idea of it. It's just for me, there's certain aspect of it because of a religious certain things that didn't make me like jump out of my skin for it, but it still was a better book. It's a way better book than this, to be honest. So this would be like the bottom of the barrel as far as all 12. And of course we talked about this already, which is 12. So overall, you guys did an amazing job of entertaining me and giving me different books, and I honestly feel that because some of you guys been following me for a while, that you know what books I would actually love and enjoy, which is probably why most of these books were a hit for me, because I think you guys paid attention. But there's some wild cards in there that I think, you know, like y'all got away with this, but then again, it's a classic, so maybe someone thought, oh, it's a classic, she'll enjoy that. But for the most part, I say you guys did a good job. I am really happy that you guys did that for me. And we need to pack the jar up. And we are going to continue this in 2024. And I look forward to January 1st to see what you guys are going to have me reading. And again, feel free in this video to give your recommendation, and I will be continuing to fill this up. And I shake them, guys. I shake them well so that, you know, I get to pick different ones. I use the same color. I also have the same size, so when I cut it all so that, you know, it's really a fair, like it is fair. I pick it's fair, and I'm glad I'm able to do that. So thank you so much for giving me this interesting addition to my channel, and to enlighten me with different kind of authors that I've never heard of, different genre, because this is everything. This is a genre. This is a 12 books that covers different genres. So thanks, guys, and we're gonna end this here, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one. And y'all wish me luck on this gum situation, because I want to eat like normal. Y'all know I lost weight already. Anyway, so I will see you guys in the next one. All right, guys. Bye.